All right, welcome to Adobe Live, live from Adobe Max 2017 in Las Vegas. Welcome everybody, welcome back in the chat. I see everybody's back here. Say hello from wherever you are in the world. For the next hour and a half, I will be together with Kyle Webster, Rocky Rourke, and Shyama Golden. Hello. We've all met at various different, or was it the same stream? No,
we were the same stream.
Different streams, yes. All right.
I'm the outsider.
So welcome to this new experience on Adobe Live. As you can see, we are on behance.net/live, and this is where you can watch the videos. That's where all the live sequences are going to be following each other seamlessly, and where you can chat with us and of course with our guests. So we're starting right now after the keynote. It's a very crowded table right now.
Yeah.
We have 3 artists working on various things, and we're going to find out exactly what everybody's going to be working on. Starting with you, Shyama.
All right. Can you guys see my pattern behind me?
They'll take care of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this pattern is basically what I'm going to show you how to make, just starting from just a regular illustration. Because a lot of people think, oh, I don't know how to do a pattern, but really all it is just any drawing that you repeat and figure out how to make it feel seamless. So that's what I'm walking
So maybe
through.
before we talk about the pattern, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, and...
Yeah, sure. I'm based out of Brooklyn. I'm an illustrator, artist, but my background is in design. I actually went to school, for college for design, and did that for a decade, and then kind of realized I'm really more into just making art out of nothing and drawing, and so I switched over to illustration, but I still incorporate design, and design informs everything I do.
All right, the chat is going crazy from Brazil, Athens, Germany, Arizona, Texas, all over the place.
Cool, I am from Texas, actually.
Texas, all right. Welcome in the chat from Texas. So we're going to be working on that pattern you said, and so do you want to explain a little bit of your workflow?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is start by drawing in Adobe Draw, and that part I've got it mostly done, but I'll show you how to put the finishing touches on that. And then I'll show you what happens once I push that over to Adobe Illustrator, how you can play around with patterns and create a swatch with that.
All right, let me move over to Rocky for a second. All right, guys. Hey, Rocky.
Hey, how's it going?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Rocky Rourke. I'm an illustrator and designer, currently based out of sunny San Diego, originally from Georgia. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. This is my second Adobe Max.
Yeah. Second Adobe Max and second Adobe live stream.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you're all comfortable with these live streams because you've done them before.
Yep.
So San Diego.
Yep.
And you drove here?
Yep, drove here. Got
5
a friend
hours.
who came in. We drove all the way from San Diego, got in, and then went straight to the casinos.
All right.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. How much are you down?
$110.
Oh, shit. All right, so what are you going to be working on today?
So I decided, I got a little bit inspired by the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And so I made this little character based on Hunter S. Thomas, just to play around with it. I'm working in Adobe Photoshop Sketch right now, and then I'm gonna bring this over to Adobe Illustrator Draw. So I'm working directly on the iPad Pro right now.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So you're gonna be working on that, and what about you, Kyle?
Well, I'll be drawing Elvis cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
An Elvis cat.
An Elvis cat, because why not? We're in
Why
Vegas.
not? Yeah, of course.
I'm going to be, of course, drawing, Elvis in his later days when he wasn't looking his best.
Okay.
Wearing the jumpsuit. And it's going to be a lot
A
of fun.
little bit like me with the...
No, Rufus, come on. Rufus is an amazing shape, everybody. But he does live in Florence, where the food is pretty darn good.
Okay.
So you got to eat a
Too much
lot
food.
of Italian food. Yeah, I'd be doing the same.
And Kyle, we've just heard a big announcement during the keynote. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, very exciting. I have joined Adobe.
No, it is very exciting. It's super exciting.
It's super exciting.
It's like wow.
So not only have I joined Adobe and I'm now working for the company, I'm really excited because now literally millions of people will have access to the entire brush library that I developed over the last 4 years. So that's about 1,500 brushes. And you can get them directly in Photoshop with one simple click. I don't know if everybody can see my screen or not.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully people can see it. You can actually just go right here in the menu and say, get more brushes. And voila, it takes you to a page hosted by Adobe where you can grab all of the brush sets. And not only can you get them now from this page, but they've all been converted to the new ABR file type. ABR files traditionally did not support things like flow settings, opacity, and so on. All of those settings are now imported directly over into an ABR file.
That's awesome.
Yes, and what that means too, if I go back to Photoshop, is that if I load tool presets, like you used to have to do, so let's see here, if I want to load some tool presets, I can select, say for example, the ink box and the Megapack. It asks me if I want to import them as brush presets now. And I can just click one button, and here they are, and I get all my brushstroke previews.
So one thing that I've heard over and over during the live streams we've done with you is like people got your big pack, what was it called?
The Mega Pack,
the Mega Pack.
A little bit overwhelming.
And overwhelming, that was the word I was looking for, So now it's going to be overwhelming directly in Adobe Photoshop, right?
Yeah, except that now you can organize it, you can create favorites, it'll show you the last 10 brushes that you just most recently used. Very, very cool stuff.
I know a lot of people out there who are going to be spending days
weeks.
Trying out all the brushes.
Weeks and weeks, maybe.
Awesome. So
I also want to mention that about 1,200 to 1,300 of these brushes are compatible with Adobe Sketch.
All right.
On your iPad, so very big news. So tons to play with.
Awesome. All right, so go on working with your Elvis Cat, and you with your
Hunter S. Thomas.
What?
Hunter S. Thomas.
Hunter S. Thomas.
Yes.
All right. And I'll walk back to Shyama and see how we can start working on her pattern design.
Yeah, I can keep working on it here and then show what happens when I bring it over. Am I live with this now, or should I?
Yes.
That one is live?
Which one do you want live?
Can people see it?
The computer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The computer.
So then I should just start with that one then and show how that goes. I mean, the important thing to show here is, you know, once you do your drawing in Adobe Draw, you just go, you hit this box with the up arrow, and it says send to Adobe Desktop Apps. And then when you click that, it says Adobe CC, and then it'll just like automatically open in Illustrator. And then this is what that is. That's what I have on my screen right now. This is the pattern. This is where we're going. But like, this is what will happen as soon as you do just any little sketch. Bring it over here, and then what
I was just mentioning that your iPad is not connected to anything, so
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
but they don't need to see that.
Okay.
Because this is exactly the drawing from the iPad.
All right.
I just explain it.
That's actually pretty cool that from Photoshop Sketch and Illustrator Draw on the iPad, you can simply send your illustration to either Photoshop or Illustrator and continue working from there.
And it's just open. So I'm going to delete this background because that was just there for me to test a color. And I'm selecting all of this, and then I just drag it into the swatches panel. So make sure you have the swatches panel open. And now you can see there's a swatch there. And if I double click on that, it will, oh yeah, there we go. It'll pull me into the pattern mode. That's what I'm calling it. I don't know if that's what it's called. So now you see it's made like a default pattern, but this isn't as interesting as I would like. So what I'm gonna do is test out different pattern layouts. And see this tab that says pattern options that's on the left? With that, like this is just the grid. It's like the most basic kind of pattern. So maybe I wanna do this brick by row so that there's like an offset. Creates a little bit better rhythm. And right now everything has a lot of space between it, so I want to bring it closer together. And there's all these options are really fun to play around with here. It's very easy to understand what's happening when you actually do it. So I can go 1/3, 1/4, or whatever offset I want. Just it depends on your image. So whatever your drawing is, you'll have to see which offset looks good. And in my case, I don't want so much space in between each thing. I want them to kind of feel connected. So I'm gonna play around with this, the width and height, which is the width and it's like the spacing between the tiles. So maybe I'll try 2300 by, okay, that's a little too close, so 2600. This is definitely a trial and error thing where you don't go in knowing exactly what it's going to be, but that's kind of the fun of it. Let's go 2000 or something.
That's really a panel that lets you fine-tune your pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this case, it's a rather complex pattern already because
Yeah.
it's got all the trees and the hammock.
This one is already complicated, but there's something really cool I'm about to show you with this. Okay, so see how this tree stump is like coming over the leaves? So that doesn't look very convincing. I mean, it doesn't have a seamless feel because you're getting this abrupt end of an object. So what I'm going to do is change how the overlap works. So there's this overlap panel that's in the same window, and you can just play around with different overlaps. So see how I push that back and it looks a lot better. So I think that's like a really important tip with this technique. And then what this is doing is it's showing me in this blue square are all of the elements that I actually drew. And then the ones that are faded are just like simulations of how it will repeat. So what you can now move individual elements around, you know, as you need to. I mean, this is already kind of working. It's different than my original, my other version where I finished it out.
One thing that's be very handy here is the new puppet warp tool in Illustrator.
Oh, you can
Have
do
you
the
seen
animation.
That?
Yeah,
No,
that'd be really
not only animation, but you could actually
like move the arm.
Move the arm.
Yeah, that'd be really
like,
cool.
Naturally.
That's a good idea because when I did it the other day, I did it last night, I actually just like moved the points individually, whereas like...
Did you watch the keynote?
Yeah, I did.
Were you sitting there?
Yeah.
What was the most exciting thing for you?
Oh man, I mean, there were a lot of cool things. Actually, I thought the Adobe Capture, this is not related to this, but that you can like find any font in the wild and it'll tell you what it is. That was like sort of like the futuristic moment for me. But there were a lot of cool things there. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I was preparing the stream, so
so
I
you're
missed a
busy,
lot. I'll have to watch the rerun.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to see what happens with Kyle's brushes being online too.
Yeah.
I mean, being part of Adobe.
And there's a lot of updating to be done.
Yeah.
My little Creative Cloud icon is going, Rufus, update me now. What's yours saying? Yeah, yours is saying that too. Update me.
Oh yeah.
And
so for me,
and just another question quickly about Adobe Max.
Yeah.
You're doing some things with the Make It on Mobile.
Yeah.
Right.
I am.
What are you doing?
Well, for that, I'm going to be teaching something totally different, which is going to be how to make a sticker pack for iOS.
Okay.
Like for the Apple App Store, or you could certainly use them for Android as well.
Awesome.
But I'm going to show you how you can use the Adobe mobile apps to create a sticker pack.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll be demonstrating like doing some simple animations and stuff.
Cool.
But it's a very quick demo, so keep it simple. And one other thing that's kind of helpful is once you bring something into Illustrator, sometimes you'll have all these like different parts, different strokes, and I will merge those because if I want to play around with colors or something once I'm in Illustrator, I'll want all these parts to be one. So that's another sort of pointer. And another thing, that maybe this is a little more advanced, but once you start doing the overlap thing, sometimes you want something to overlap behind, another thing to overlap in front. And there's a trick for that. And that's not actually a problem that we have right now with this particular file, but I'll see if I can make it a problem just to show you. Okay, so wait, actually this, make that a different color. See the hand, it's a little hard to see, but the hand is actually slightly behind the tree. Let's say I want the hand to be in front of the tree. Then what I would do is take the hand part and, well, first of all, we'll need to group all this group all these strokes together. Let's grab that. I got everything. Yeah, and I would merge all these if I were to do it correctly, which you could do in the Pathfinder, which I already have open.
I always do that too.
But yeah, I need to keep it all the same color, so that was the thing.
Well, I mean, going into the menu and finding out that the pan is already
Right,
open.
yeah, exactly. Because I have so many things open all the time. So. Actually, that was nice, the workspace thing they showed. They showed that like the workspaces would become a little, because I'm always looking for my panels all the time. So like I think they were showing that that won't happen anymore because there'll be certain like intuitive workspaces. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, there we go. There's just one little piece to add to that. Now I don't have so many pieces here anymore. And I'll group this arm with these. So you merge areas of the same color. You don't want to merge areas with different colors because then it will make them all the same color. That's cool how it knows I'm reaching behind. Oh yeah, because this blue part is actually just a preview. It's not a real object that's there. So now I'm grouping that arm. And okay, I want to bring it in front of this tree. So this is a really weird thing. I'm going to bring the arm over to another part where the arm would be. And okay, that one isn't actually, it's not in front. So there's a way around this. So I'm going to move this whole, all the parts that I've drawn, you'll see they're turning up in that color. Take that out of the group, make this a group. Now I'll move everything over so that I'm bringing, I need to bring this top person's arm into that blue square because anything outside of the blue square is not part of the pattern, it's just a part of the repeat. So now that that's there, I can bring this arm now over. And now it is in front of the tree. So that's a really like edge case situation, but it is something I had to learn the hard way, and I think it would be useful for someone who's very particular about how they want their pattern to repeat. And now I can show you what happens when we go back.
Yeah, Karen is already asking, why not use the puppet warp and adjust the angle of the arm?
Well, that's a good idea.
Well,
we should do that.
Tomorrow we can. I mean, have you updated your Illustrator already?
I probably didn't, not last night.
Okay.
When did that?
This morning.
Oh, this morning. I didn't update it this morning. I was like busy thinking about what I was going to do today.
Okay. But yes, you're right, Karen. That's how we would do it now.
Yeah, that'd
Just
be a cool
move
way
the
to do it.
arm, like. Whoop. Yep.
That would be actually what would be cool to do
And
with
Jan
that.
Erik hasn't been paying attention because he says, I don't think Illustrator has puppet warp. Well, it does now.
Yeah, that's really cool actually. I am excited about that because I use puppet warp a lot, especially I use it for my animations. So I also do animated patterns, so this would be cool to do like where the arm is like swinging around or something, and you could do that with the puppet tool.
Absolutely.
And just like export each frame, you know?
Yeah.
But that is pretty cool. And now what happens when you bring this out, I'll just show you what happens. Like, okay, now this is just in the pattern mode. We're gonna hit this little arrow at the top left, and that takes you back out to, and this is a weird thing that happens, like it's filling the original drawing with the pattern. It's becoming really meta. So I'll just make a new square, and I'm actually gonna increase the size of my document here. Just edit artboards. I'm gonna go bigger so you can see more repeats. And let's see, whatever that is. That. Okay. And now I'm gonna make a new square, and this will probably automatically fill because I've got that swatch selected. So that's just a swatch, just like a color swatch, so you can apply it to any shape in Illustrator. So if you're doing a mock-up even of a certain shape that you want to fill with a pattern, you just always have that swatch.
That's an
to go
awesome
back
set
to.
of tips and tricks that you gave there with the arm, the movement of the arm, and like how to bring the tree behind the leaves.
Yeah,
Anything is possible.
Yeah, and it just makes the pattern feel a little bit more professional.
Chris
And-
Walkman says, nice pattern.
Thank you.
Yep.
And now I'm just going to add a background color really quickly, and for that you can, I don't have any swatches already saved, but you could, if you had swatches saved, you could use those, or let's see if we've got, let me just pick a color.
That's right, Shyama Golden. And while you do that, I'm going to walk over to Kyle to see a little bit what he's doing, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Of course.
See you in a sec. All right, Kyle.
Hello.
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 How's our Elvis cat doing?
Going great. I got the sketch
Yeah.
done. Now I'm going to do the inks.
Okay. Did you use a pencil to do that?
Yeah, that was the
No.
from the Mega Pack.
You used the Kyle brush.
I did.
Yes.
I did. Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, digital pencil.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rufus. Do I need another cup of coffee or something? I gotta wake up.
Yeah.
You're too sharp
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, let's get somebody to get us some coffee.
How about a little bucket? We can all just share it. Yeah.
Share the same coffee.
Yeah.
I
So
should
yeah, this
try
is gonna be
the
fun.
Gopro tool now.
Now I just have to decide which inking tool should I use out of the
out of
80
the-
or 90 that exist in
Okay.
the Mega Pack alone. This is a real conundrum. So, you know, but the best thing is at least I can see what they look like. So that's helpful.
Is it like this is gonna be like the white, like jumpsuit or?
Yes, exactly, with stars on it and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And Viva Max Vegas. See, I'm trying to do a
Alright.
little bit of a play on words there. You know,
Mhm.
I love this. You can slide and enlarge
That's
the
awesome.
brush stroke. I mean, come on, they thought of everything.
Mhm.
Incredible.
Next step would be to animate them, so you understand
That would be very
exactly
cool.
what happens.
Oh man, if you say that, the Photoshop team's going to say, "Oh man, that's a lot of work. I don't know if we want to do that." But that's a really cool idea.
No, for the first time, like when you hover over it,
Yeah,
it
and it
animates.
just goes, "Woo."
Goes,
oh,
"Ooh."
fancy.
All right, Photoshop
fancy.
team, are you listening?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Maybe I'll try a fountain pen. See how that looks. I'm going to knock the opacity back.
There were a lot of
here.
comments about how people were happy about your the brushes being part of Creative Cloud now.
That makes me very
Yeah.
happy. It's an amazing feeling to have the number exponentially grow like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I had, you know, a good number of customers, but to now have everybody who's a Creative Cloud subscriber have access to
Yeah.
just the thousands and thousands and thousands of people all in one sudden, you know, moment.
You
is
can say millions.
millions.
But
It's
I
very
just
exciting.
need to turn the computer here a second so I can read the chat. Like there, yeah. There we go. No worries. See if people are saying something for Kyle.
Oh, comments.
Yeah, comments.
I hope the comments are friendly.
I tell you what, I'll just go grab my computer. No, I can't. All right, it's all attached. All attached. All right, so
Fancy.
inking is starting.
I've never drawn an Elvis cat before. This is a brand new thing.
How did you come to that idea?
You know, I like cats, and we're in Vegas, so I just always associate Elvis with Vegas. Now, a lot of people associate him with his earlier stuff, but
Like Hawaii and.
all the movies
Yeah.
and all, you know, and I, for some reason, there was something appealing to me about sweaty Elvis, you
It's
know.
mostly
in the
probably
jumpsuit.
because we're probably around the same age, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're exactly the same age.
Basically, when he died,
Yes.
we watched it on TV. I mean, the
Yeah.
last concert and everything was going over and over and
Yeah.
over. So I guess
It
in
was a news moment.
our imagination, that's the image that stuck.
Makes
you know?
sense.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. As a kid, that was the image of Elvis I had, and
Yeah.
I didn't really know much about him. And then as I got older, I was exposed to,
Yeah.
you know,
The other
young
stuff.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, sexy Elvis. You know. So anyway, actually, my wife's mom, so my mother-in-law, huge Elvis fan. So maybe part of the reason I'm doing this is to make her happy.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's go over to Rocky for a second. Good.
So I took my original sketch, which I'll switch back here just so everybody can see the full version of it. And like I started off super simple, and then I went back in and changed some things up. and now I've got it into Adobe Illustrator Draw, and I'm currently inking it.
All right. And you mentioned to me something that from the last stream, I mean, you were introduced almost to these mobile apps.
Yeah.
And now that you're...
they've changed everything for me. Yeah, it's like, because like originally I was going to have my laptop set up, I was going to be using Illustrator and using these apps, and I was like, you know what, let me just go fully back into the apps. And so Photoshop Sketch has like completely worked its way into my process, and Adobe Illustrator Draw, I don't use it a whole lot for line work because I still like the brush textures in Illustrator, but I'll bring them over here and I do all my fills and everything here now because I can just go and sit on my couch.
You have a big fan there. I'm your biggest fan, Rocky, from Eric Trotto.
Thank you. Yeah, like I just love it, and I think now I have much more control over it than I did in the last stream. And so it's fun, like starting these like, you know, line works here, and I'm hoping to be able to get through most of this before time runs out and finish it up. If not,
I do have another
good hour, right? Yeah. So I think we might be able to get there, at least part of the way there. But yeah, it's really great using this tool and having the control of like manipulating the pen pressure, because like when I was doing most of the outlines here, I wasn't really using pen pressure at all. But when I started doing these little like cactus sticks and stuff like that to show that the hat's fabric, I started using pen pressure a lot more, and it really helped to help give me variety.
All right.
So.
All right. These are going to be sunglasses, right?
Yeah, these are going to be sunglasses. Once I get the fills going and everything, I'm going to have glare on them and everything like that. So.
Yep. And Andre says, I love Rocky's shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Invisible Creature.
Yep.
Love Invisible Creature.
So I'm just going to turn back to you, Kyle, for a second, because a lot of people in the chat were asking, well, how do I get the brushes?
Oh, check it out. So simple.
So it's super easy.
Now, make sure you get the latest version of Photoshop. That's crucial. When
so
you
go
get
to your
the
Creative
update,
Cloud icon on
Bingo.
top, or
Update
down below on
Photoshop.
Windows, and update.
And
Right
you're
now you
gonna
should
love
get
it.
little red dot on it.
Yes. Update Photoshop, and once you've done that, it's as simple as going to your brushes panel, and here in the contextual menu, you can just click and say, get more brushes. Simple as that. I tap that once, and voila. Here you have the full library of brushes, the Mega Pack, watercolor, dry media. All 15 full sets are right there, available to you.
That's so awesome.
Yes, it is, because they download as ABR files now, and the ABR files have retained all of the functionality of the tool presets.
Cool.
So it's really an amazing development. And now that you have this new brushes panel, you can organize your tools in folders, you can see brushstroke previews, you can select favorites, you can create new folders.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Get your brushes organized.
Yep.
I love the way you put this little grit on your drawing, and
line work. I like to add little details here and there.
Yeah.
Because it gives it personality. So. Yeah, probably what I'm going to do is I'll probably just get him done during this live stream. That way I can get colors on him and everything, and then I'll finish it up later and maybe share it on YouTube.
All right. We go back to Shyama.
Yeah, maybe I'll now connect to the iPad just to show the drawing process.
Yes. Okay. Let's see.
Just put this in here.
That's USB-C. Let's see. Do we have an iPad? Oh, maybe we can take Rocky's for a second.
This one right here?
Yeah.
You can also come back to me. You can come back to me too if you want.
No, that's fine. Rocky can continue to work even though he's not showing his screen.
Should we go under?
Can you put it on top?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going back in time throughout this demonstration. But
So now are we on Shyama's iPad? Okay, cool.
yeah, so now I'm just going to show some of the
You
process
want to
of
maybe
drawing it.
turn it like this? There we go.
How do I get the image to turn?
Oh, the image. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Basically, yeah. Okay.
Maybe I started drawing it that way. Now I have to keep it up.
No, there is a way. If you turn it and then save it and then open it again, it'll turn.
Oh, really? But
yeah.
for now, we'll just do it this way. Yeah, so now I'm going back and like adding more detail to the image, and I'll be able to like re-bring it in and tweak the pattern this way. So I'll just show some of the just basics of how I drew this. Actually, I'm gonna carve away at the tree a little bit more so it feels more, because right now there's a contrast of like thick and thin, but I want the pattern to feel more continuous, so I'm gonna erase some of that. Let's go with a bigger eraser. Oh, and I have the lines on a separate layer, so I will need to erase those separately. I like to keep all my elements on different layers because then it's easy to manipulate them separately.
Keeping it organized.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's organized, but it's separated at least. Where's that one? I think it's right here. So I'll just get rid of that. And the way I work might be a little different than the way most people work with Draw. The first thing I do is I go change every single brush to a round brush because that's just the brush I like. And I'll set my palette because I like to work somewhat limited color palette. So then I'll just pick out the colors I want to use, but I want them all to use the same brush shape. And just the way to do that is just by long tapping and then selecting your brush. Because by default it starts with like all different, like a variety of brushes. But once I started working with it, I just felt like that was just my style. So. Let's see.
Maybe we can show the audience in the chat a little view of what's happening here in the background. Oh, there we go. See? So all the way here. Okay, hi guys. Okay, this is the tech. There's Gus there. Oh well, hey there. Hey. There's the Gopro Truck. I saw it drive into the venue yesterday. It was amazing. And then, of course, everybody, all of the attendees are. Hello, cameraman. And all the way down there. It's really, really huge. And we have a really great Adobe Live stand this year. All right, back to Shyama.
So another tip that I use a lot is, even though I use limited color, it's still hard for me to keep it to exactly 5 colors. So what I'll end up doing is I drop colors I already have. So for example, right now I don't have this like dark blue selected. So I'll just go here, go to color, long press, and it gives you this eyedropper thing that I can like get back that blue color, and now I can just draw in that. So that's how I keep my colors consistent, because I don't want to pick a new color from the wheel every single time.
Yeah.
You know, then it won't feel cohesive.
No, the color picker is, and I've seen some artists also create the swatches on the side of the illustration and then use the color picker to go back and forth.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's like a virtual palette.
Yeah.
There's probably more advanced ways of doing it too that I don't even know. Like the color libraries and stuff.
Yeah.
The Adobe color libraries.
Yeah, and the color libraries, they can also be shared in Creative Cloud libraries and go from one application to the other very easily.
Another thing that I use all the time is the long press to fill. That's something I use constantly. So I'll add like another leafy layer. Let me look back at this and see what I did. I'll add another leafy layer, like, because there's a big empty space behind the hammock. So I'm gonna fill that in. Let's do purple and do a new draw layer. I'm doing this towards the bottom of my layer stack. You draw a layer, and then I'm gonna draw just like this shape back here, like another thing of leaves. And it's important you have to close the loop completely. You know, even though it's behind, it's closed. So now all I have to do is long press inside that and it's filled. So that's how quickly you can make one of these shapes. And then I'll just pick one of the lighter colors I already have here. Or I could eyedrop something, but I've already got the color selected. So then I'm gonna draw the leaves in. I have the brush selected like at a kind of big size, because then I can press lightly to create small strokes and harder to create big, and I can do a lot of variety without having to change the brush size. And now let's say I think these leaves are a little too low, then I can tap that and go transform. And now that I've kept that on a separate layer, I'm able to isolate that and move it in a little bit to make that composition a little tighter.
Yes, Shyama's working on with Illustrator Draw right now on the iPad using an Apple Pencil, which I personally love because it's got the feel of a pencil. It's got the when you hold it in your hands, it's like just like holding a pencil. It's not like, it doesn't have any weird shape and it weighs like a pencil.
Yeah, it's really comfortable to use.
Yes, it's a Rourke. Yes, Kyle is using a Wacom Tablet. Let me go over to Kyle for a second. What Wacom are you using, Kyle?
This is a phenomenal machine. This is the 16, the Cintiq 16 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not a PC. It's not a computer. It's just a tablet. Extremely lightweight, very portable. It's got these nice kickstand legs, and I just was able to travel with it very easily. Just throw it in my backpack, yeah, I love it. It's also got the new Pro Pen, which has over 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. So I absolutely love drawing with it. Yeah, and I use felt nibs in case anybody's interested. The felt nib I find is very natural. Feels very good. Just realized I wasn't paying attention to the hand, and now I need to enlarge that hand so I can just undo it. It's the beauty of working digitally. What do you think? See, he's gonna be okay.
Yeah. I love the ink. It almost feels like ink.
That's the idea. Yeah, it's very, you need a faint line, really fat line. You can see even as you're drawing, it starts to settle into the paper. The line changes a little bit. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Rocky, I've seen you move things around like a pencil.
Oh yes. That's the one thing about this I love, is just the fluidity of it. And to Kyle's point, I used to be all Wacom. I used to only use Wacom tablets, but the whole reason why I switched over to the iPad was because of the portability of it. Because I like to be able to just like put it in my book bag and just take it wherever I go, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space.
All right, I'll be right back. Live on Adobe Live. Live from Max 2017, the Creativity Conference. We just had the keynote this morning, and this is our first live stream of a 3-day extravaganza of great guests. Great guests just like Shyama, working on great projects. You're still working on the iPad and finessing it?
Yeah, I'm just adding more grain to the wood. Should I connect the things?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, no. Okay.
All I'm doing is I'm just going in and adding more strokes to the illustration. Wait, how did this get? Let's pull this over here.
Yeah.
That'll be better.
In German, we say Kabelsalat, a cable salad. Do you say that in English?
No.
No? It's a cable salad.
Salad,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense though. So yeah, all I did since we last spoke was I just filled this area with details, just to give it a different look. And I'll kind of go through and fill the leaves too, and completely fill that and just see how it looks. Sometimes it ends up being too much, but you don't know until you do it and try. That's what I'm doing.
You know, answer some questions in the yes, Tim, Kabelsalat. And Justine, how is Rocky drawing via iPad into full Photoshop CC? Is he using an app like Duet Display, or are you drawing in full Photoshop CC? No, you're not.
No, I'm using the mobile apps.
Yeah, he's actually using Photoshop Sketch
Yep.
on the iPad.
Actually, Adobe Illustrator Draw.
Oh, Adobe Illustrator Draw. Yes, that's the vector version of Adobe Photoshop Sketch. Therefore, that whatever he draws, just like Shyama, whatever is drawn on the iPad remains vectors, and you can send it to Illustrator and continue editing there. Exactly what we did just a few minutes ago with Shyama, creating a pattern. Now she's finessing it on her iPad. And where can I find the Kyle brushes mentioned? Well, we're going to show it again in a second when I go back to Kyle, but it's inside of Photoshop. In your brushes panel, you can add the new brushes, and it'll take you to a website where these brushes are available. All of Kyle's brushes are there.
These used to be the brush settings.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yes, cable spaghetti. That's right, Mel. Maybe you call it cable spaghetti here. Okay. We call it cable salad.
I was going to do an illustration because I've done these illustrations that are letters. Like I did one that's WTF, but it's made out of flowers. It's water the flowers. It's not the thing you think it means. And I was going to do one that was NSFW, but it's not safe for work. It's not so functional wires.
Oh,
it's
right.
just like wires that are a mess.
Cool. Yep, that's a good point, Boyd. We're going to be checking on that. If it redirects you to the Canadian website, I don't know. Maybe the pages haven't been updated yet, but hang in there. The brushes are coming for everybody. Part of Adobe Creative Cloud. Oh. For them, your iPad is upside down. Okay.
How do I do that? How do I fix that? Just go, maybe I need to close out.
Yeah.
And then go to,
There you
then
go.
it's the
And now if
correct
you
side.
open it again.
Oh, interesting. Somehow I had flipped it. And now is it good?
All right. Well, we checked that and it worked.
Yeah. Probably looks better when it's not upside down. And when I bring this into Illustrator, I also sometimes you can use there's a simplify option in one of the tabs that you can simplify some shapes depending on what you're doing.
Like to reduce the number of points and stuff like that.
If you want more smooth curves and stuff.
I just want to be in that hammock.
Yeah. Oh, I did draw it from like a vacation photo. I was like on the plane coming over here, and I thought, okay, what do I draw? And I looked through my photos and had this like old vacation photo, and I was like, oh, that'd be a good pattern. Just.
All right, some lettering happening on Kyle's drawing.
Experimenting. I think I'll probably wind up changing, but I just thought I'd try something with these new brushes.
This is like a marker brush.
It lets you change the color from one foreground color to background color with the pressure. So you can do these nice things. But I think I'd rather use a...
Can you show again how to get your brushes?
Sure.
That's the number one question right now.
I totally understand. So in the brushes panel here, not brush settings, but the actual brushes panel, you want to go to this little drop-down menu here and say get more brushes. And when you click on that link, I'll just do it again. You click on it and it'll pull up a page on adobe.com that allows you to download for free, if you're a Creative Cloud subscriber, any one of the brush sets. And you simply hit download and an ABR file will go wherever you want it to go.
So there's somebody in the chat that had issues with that because it was adobe.canada / whatever. And maybe the page isn't there yet.
No, that I don't know. It should be. They should have, that stuff should all be sorted out. If it's not, the best thing to do...
This is not limited to
No, this is not
the
just
United
the United States. No, this is worldwide. It should work. So if there are any issues with it, the best thing to do is reach out to Adobe support ASAP via not just email or through their website, but even on Twitter or the fastest
Adobe
way
Care.
to get them.
At Adobe Care on Twitter.
So get them on that because they will immediately get that fixed. Yes, these are available globally, and over 1,000 brushes here to.
Which one's your favorite pack?
You know, I can't choose one because I created them and I love them all dearly.
They're all
my
babies.
children. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So I think that the Mega Pack has the most tools in it that are varied. So a lot of people start with that set. But there are so many things I like to play with. For example, the Impressionist brushes, I really love to just paint with them because they create impressionistic brush strokes, and I just find that to be a real joy. The halftones are fun for comics and things like that. Lettering obviously is something that I'm not a lettering artist, but I've had some people say that they've really enjoyed working with those now, so maybe I'll get more into that. And speaking of lettering, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this sketch that I've got here in the background with the lettering, so I'd like to do something kind of nice.
Yeah, lettering is a completely different
It's an art
beast.
form that requires years and years of training and practice, and I am not a letterer by any stretch of the imagination. So I will endeavor to do something decent and not embarrass lettering artists around the world. But I do want to say that again. I am not a lettering artist. So get Jessica Hish here on the stream, and she can show everybody how it's done. That would be my advice. Has she ever done a live stream?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay, well, and Gemma O'Brien, has she ever done a live stream?
I don't
think so
remember.
either.
Yeah.
Okay, another great letterer.
Yeah. Well, we also have our Adobe Creative residents. One of them, Rosa Kammermeyer, is
I have not met her.
Yeah, she's a lettering artist from Germany.
Well, then
she's
she
one of
should do
our
it.
2 German creative residents.
Sehr gut.
They're both here at Adobe Max, and she did a thing called the Walk of Happiness, and basically it's a tour through Munich, and she had permission from various shop owners to actually write positive messages on their shop windows.
Cool idea.
And people would go around the city and discover those messages. And
I like that.
Yeah.
Are those, and who was responsible for the nice big banners we have here at Max?
Well, the big one that's just by the entrance, that's all swirly.
Yeah.
Rosa did that one.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I like Rosa's work. Very nice.
Yep.
Well, maybe she could come here on the stage
Maybe,
and
yeah.
help me out. But I know that I'm going to be able to do something so-so. So, that's what I'm striving for. So-so.
Do the best you can, Kyle.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. Gosh, you put the pressure on me.
Let's move on to Rocky, and I see some shading happening here already.
Yep, I've now completed all the line work for the character, and now I'm working on adding the fill colors. And for anyone who watched my previous live stream, they will remember that I do all of my fills in grayscale. That way
That's right. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, that way I can build up the tonality of everything, and then later on I will go in and color it. So right now I'm going through and I'm adding all grayscales. And the one thing that I always try and do with these, and I do it mostly in Illustrator, is I will give each area, so like for instance the fingertips, they have their own specific gray. And that way if I were to bring this into Illustrator, I could select that specific gray, and I can change it to a specific color. So like he has fingertips here, he has fingertips down on his other hand, and that way they'll all change
I see. So that's to overcome the limitation of 5 colors?
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm going through and I'm filling these in. This will also allow me to give a little bit more detail, like I'll be able to add the sunglass fill here, with a little bit of like a shine to it. I'm also going to give him a 5 o'clock shadow, and as you can see with the shirt, that's also when I'm going to add the flowers into his shirt and everything. So usually sometimes I won't ink every single thing. I'll just ink certain parts, and then I'll try and like break it up a little bit with that. And of course we will do shading after all the fills are done as well.
Cool.
So yeah, it's turning out really good.
And then you're going to do all the icons.
Yes, all the icons, if time allows.
If time allows.
It might, but...
They can remain sketches.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go back here, check out the chat for a second.
Having fun?
All right. Well, Kayleen is asking, when you draw on the iPads, that's for both of you really, do you hold your hand on the screen or hover over the screen?
I place my hand on
it. It would be really difficult to draw that.
It's got pretty good palm rejection.
Yeah.
It works pretty well.
I also have a special glove.
Yeah.
You can find multiple versions of it on Amazon, and basically just covers your 2 fingers here. And that way it helps, especially when you're doing lines, because you won't get the friction of your hand going across the screen. So it really helps. I forgot it though.
Yeah. Same thing for Kyle, I think. Kyle is not wearing a glove. He's putting his hand on the thing. Yeah, it's got palm rejection on the Wacom as well.
Love it.
Yep, palm rejection. And when the iPad senses that your Apple Pencil is there, or stylus on the Wacom, it knows not to mess with your hand.
Yeah. Sometimes there are those like phantom moments where you'll have your finger and you'll just like try and move it across, and then you'll accidentally like draw or something like that. But those sometimes can't be really avoided.
It happens, but you can really easily just ping back.
Exactly.
Amazing artists, great features. Thank you, Samir. I read it correctly the first time.
Yeah, I will say.
Oh, palm rejection like I had on my Fujitsu Stylistic Tablet PC in 2003. Yeah, most probably, Karen.
I will say one thing that I got really excited about from the keynote was that puppet feature. I do a lot of also flat vector illustrations.
Right, yeah.
And that is going to change.
Yeah.
That's going to change the game completely.
So I was asking Shyama before, what is your favorite thing that you've seen during the keynote today?
So I definitely love the puppet feature. I'd heard something about it before when I was at Adobe, but that is definitely one of my favorite things because it's going to allow me to do so much more. I've tried it out with After Effects, and I was always wanting it to be in Illustrator as well. That plus I do like Spark. I do like Spark. Spark is going to be really cool with social media and everything. I have my second side business, and it's always tough to get all those Instagram.
Did you brand
Facebook.
it already?
I haven't branded it yet.
It works so great because now in Adobe Spark you can add your logo, your favorite fonts, your favorite colors, everything, and this becomes a part of a pack called branded content. And basically every post you make, be that in Spark Post or Spark Page or Spark Video, is actually branded with your logo and things like that. And that is available for Creative Cloud customers. So
yeah, because it used to be separate. It was a premium, and now that's all included.
Yeah, now it's included in the Creative Cloud. No, for Creative Cloud users.
Oh, they always was? Oh, okay,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
If you're using the free versions, well, you can't brand it, but it's
yeah.
still cool.
Because I remember last year when they came out with that and they were really talking about it, I was really excited about it. That, and I started really using the mobile apps, like Premiere's app.
Yeah.
That was always one of my favorites because I would make little fun videos and share it with my friends. So that was always fun, but the Puppet feature, I think, when it comes to the software, I think the Puppet feature is going to be huge for illustrators because it's going to be able to change what we're doing and make things go a lot faster. I think pretty much that's been the main hallmark of Adobe Max so far, is just like speed and getting things done quicker and quicker.
Yeah. For example, Illustrator opens 30% faster now.
Yeah.
That's
have
you ever waited for Illustrator to open?
No.
Well,
Really?
now it opens even faster, and we moved from 100 artboards to 1,000 artboards, which is crazy. And many people tell me, why would you want 1,000 artboards? You know, well, you know, icon designers and people who do very repetitive designs, well, they need that kind of thing. So I think it's going to be super useful.
I think the most artboards I've ever had with illustrations was maybe 40. And it was multiple sizes, header, supporting illustrations, iconography, and everything. So yeah, that definitely helps out because it's all in one file versus spread out over multiple files.
And Kyle here is continuing his typographic experiments. Yeah.
So I found a brush I really like for this, and it changes the color slightly as you walk through it. Yeah. And I might try. Well, we'll see how it goes. But I have some ideas for this. I'll do that.
Do these brushes have a specific name? The ones that change color?
They are labeled as such in different sets. They'll have CD, which means that color dynamics are activated. All the Impressionist brushes take advantage of it, so they're not specifically labeled that way.
Okay.
But brushes in other sets will sometimes have a CD next to them, or the word color will be next to them, and that's indicating that color dynamics are in play.
Cool.
In some way, shape, or form.
All right. I can't see all of that working together. And your grayscale things, I think that's a really good tip for everyone out there, is like to use different grayscales for all the different parts, and then using Illustrator to quickly select those and color them in with whatever is needed.
Yeah, and another thing is a great reason to start with grayscale versus color is when you share it with clients, you know, they're not focused on, I don't like that shade of red or something like that. That can be a later discussion. You want to focus on just making sure that everything's looking right, everything's feeling right, and then you can address color later on.
Yeah. No, the brushes are available for Photoshop, of course, and many of them, actually thousands, are available also for the mobile apps. So for Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop Sketch on the iPad and Android. So Dennis, how do you export your work from iPad to Illustrator, and how does it look when it's there? Thank you. So we will move back to Illustrator with Shyama in a second, but there is a button actually in, maybe we can show it now on Shyama's iPad. There's a button there that says Open in Illustrator.
It's this one right here.
This one right here. And
Adobe Desktop Apps.
Exactly.
And then Illustrator.
And then basically what happens is over the Wi-Fi, boom, it goes to Illustrator. And if Illustrator is not open on your desktop, it'll open the file.
Yeah, I use that a lot.
And everything will be in vectors, of course.
Right. One thing
I hope that answers your question, Dennis.
I thought of something that could be useful. Well, I drew this shadow under the legs by doing a multiply blend mode. And to do that, you need to have that shadow on a separate layer. So I'm gonna do another one, like I drew the shadow under the arm, so I had to put that, there's the draw layer with the arm on it, and I put it right behind that. And now I've drawn that, and I need to go into that. Blend mode right now, it says normal by default. And you can test all these different things, darken, multiply, lighten. Oh, you know what, actually, I like darken. That's interesting how it doesn't equally darken everything. So I'm gonna actually go back to where I did this and also change that.
So there's a few questions on how to transfer files from your iPad to your desktop computer. And no, it doesn't work over AirDrop. It works over Creative Cloud. So basically, it goes into your Creative Cloud and back to wherever you've sent it. That's the magic of Creative Cloud.
Yeah, you can AirDrop a PNG, but you can't AirDrop the vector.
No. Yes, because you could export it from here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also send it to Creative Cloud files and open it as a PDF too. Now that I know I'm doing shadows, I'm just gonna start with the multiply mode and just draw in that mode. Let's see if I can add more shadows to things.
Are we going to try to send it to Illustrator at a certain point? Or?
I can try and you can come back to me.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not
all
sure
right.
how long.
Sure.
It takes
Let's
a little
move.
bit.
Back to Kyle. Oh, wow. Completely changed again.
Yeah.
Yes. Every time I come here, something's different.
It's working out now.
Definitely get dinner tonight.
I'm satisfied with
should try
how
and
this
see
is
if,
going to be. So it just took about 20 tries. No big deal. How much time do we have left? Do I have time to get
We
this
have
Elvis
about
colored?
30 minutes.
Perfect. I'm going to color
little bit less.
Elvis. I'll get some stuff.
Actually, it says it right here.
Oh, look at that. No problem. Okay. Plenty of time. So we'll get some color behind the cat. And we will, whoops. I'll add a couple little design elements to spruce it up a bit. And that'll be that.
All right.
Just in time, right?
Just in time.
Turn off the sketch. We can see how clean. Clean.
There's a lot of love for you in the chat and the brushes and everything.
Thank goodness.
So
I thought people were just going to be hating on me, so I can't read it now. Thank you. I'm glad.
Yep.
Yes, I have a very fragile ego, so I need lots of love and support. Thank you.
Well, Gideon is saying, I love the brushes, how do I get them? But we're not going to show it right now.
We can show it really quickly
Very
if you want.
quickly, very
Here,
quickly.
In 2 seconds, watch.
Yes.
I'm in the brushes panel. I go to this contextual menu right here. Bam, get more brushes. Simple as that. You could even hold down the control key, click on a brush, and get more brushes. Look at that. There are 2 places. You can go up here, you can hold down the control key, and boom. Download them, installs in seconds.
Yeah. So one piece of advice, don't download them all at once.
No, you'll be
because
overwhelmed.
you'll go crazy. There's so many things to try out. Take it one step at a time. Like one
the
step
Eagles
at
say.
a time. Yes.
Take it easy. Isn't that a song by the
Although
Eagles?
the mega pack is like at the first place on the page. It's like very tempting to get the mega pack.
Yeah.
No. Start slowly, because otherwise it's just too overwhelming.
I mean, I'll load some. Let's see here. The way you used to do it is load tool presets, and as I was saying earlier, now you can load them. So I want to now do some painting. So I'll go to the mega pack and go in the paint box, and it's a tool
Okay.
preset file, right? But when I want to import it, now it gives you the option to import as brushes.
Oh, there you go.
And boom,
Puts
I
them
can
all
see
there.
all the brushstroke
Yeah.
previews.
That's definitely a great new addition to Photoshop. It came
Yes.
out today, right?
Today's first time.
Today's the first time that we are able to organize brushes in such a neat way.
I'm going to use the creamy brush, which gives you this nice. Oh yeah, I love it.
Oh, digital painters will just love that.
So fun.
Yep.
Maybe
All right.
All right.
Rocky, drawing flowers.
We are now on the shirt. We're almost done with fill. Hopefully we can get done with a lot more today, but it's going really great. I just like to freehand it. Notice I don't even I can look through here and see how the flowers are, but I just go and just freehand it and just see how everything flows around and everything like that. Just nice and fun. The one thing I will say is for all those people out there who have adult coloring books, this is basically what this feels like for me. This is my adult coloring book here. Being able to go in here and draw a little doodle and then go through and just fill this in whenever I'm doing client work like
Do you
this.
go in Zen mode?
Yes. I'll put on some good music and just sit there and just
draw flowers?
Yeah. Put noise canceling headphones on and everything. Oh, it feels so good. It's if I'm ever stressed out or anything like that, this is the best stress reliever for me, is just to go in here and start doing this stuff. But it's crazy because I never thought when we first did the live stream, I never thought I would actually incorporate Adobe Illustrator Draw into my whole process.
Yeah.
And I was working on this fine illustration project for InVision app, and I was like, okay, I just did the line work. I kind of want to just go and sit on my couch and do this. So I was I exported it, brought it into Illustrator Draw, and just started doing all the fill. I was basically coloring it like a coloring book.
Yeah.
And it worked out great. Everybody loved it. I wish that I had gotten some prints made of it, but it turned out really great.
Oh, it's never too late, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you continue with your flowers.
All right.
Find out what Shyama's up to.
But there's probably something to do with all
Just
the.
become shorter.
Yeah, I think so. I sent it over, but I'm not sure. Normally it will just pop open, but I think it could have something to do with the thousands of people on the same network thing.
It doesn't transfer over.
Yeah, it says sent, but I didn't find it there.
Well, guy's still trying to do it. Okay.
Yeah,
but-
maybe. Oh,
I
so
just
sent,
did.
but then shouldn't it pop up here?
So maybe it'll transfer over.
I also
That's what
had this-
happens when there's 13,000 people, just like here at Adobe Max 2017, in one room, all on their phones, using Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
the free Wi-Fi. No, Shyama is not drawing on a Wacom, she's drawing on an iPad. Nicola.
Yeah, this is what I used to do all of my work now. I mean, all my professional work is done on an iPad.
Yes, many people came on the streams where just like Rocky was not really convinced, whatever, but okay, let's try it. And in Rocky's case, for example, it completely changed his workflow, and he really enjoys working on the iPad to get the first lines down.
Yeah, I almost didn't even do the live stream the first time around because I was I never really used the app, so I didn't feel like I could really give back any perspective, but then it turns out it was great.
That's a press and hold to fill. That's right, Jacqueline. That's what Shyama is doing on her drawing, and what also Rocky is doing on his. It's incredible how it changes the whole mood of the picture just by changing the background color like that.
Maybe I'll bring that color in somewhere too.
Why don't you talk about how you choose your colors?
Oh yeah, I actually have a Pinterest board that is for color. If I'm logged in, maybe I can show that. Yeah, recently I just started saving images just for color inspiration. I find that it really does help because what I'll do is I'll just go to this board and then I already know, I can look at the different works and see what mood I want to create and then kind of start from there. Because sometimes when you're starting from nothing, it can be a little overwhelming to just know what colors to use. So you start from there and then you keep evolving it and changing it around until it's what you want. Yeah, I don't know if our Wi-Fi will allow me to show you guys these. But we can come back to it. But that was a board I used when I picked colors for this. And it does help that you're kind of like limited to these 5 colors, so it reins you in a little bit, and you can kind of see them together on the side and know whether it's the feel you want to go for. And I like using, I haven't used transparency on this one so much, but I like using transparency and multiply and different like blend modes too, especially with vector work. It gives it some extra dimension.
And the blend modes also transfer over to Illustrator when you send it over.
Yeah, exactly.
When it works.
Yeah,
over
I mean
the
it
Wi-Fi.
always works at home, but it's just the Wi-Fi here is not. It's a little overloaded. Try it again. So this one I added to the tree, and I added certain parts that I thought would make it flow better because I've already tried this as a pattern on the computer, so now I'm going back and like adding things where I thought it could have worked better in that same pattern. And just adding more detail to it in general.
Yeah, still trying to sync up here, you see a little circle.
It's nice when you're working on something to send it over and test it very quickly before you work on a drawing for days and then you test it in the pattern. You're going to discover stuff and then it's going to be kind of too late to change a bunch of things. So that's why I like to do a very simple drawing, test the pattern really quickly, see what that looks like, then go back and make adjustments and then bring it back again.
No, so Camel Illustrator Draw is not available on a desktop computer, but it is available on the mobile apps. It's a mobile app, so basically it works on the phone. On the iPad, of course, it has the advantage of working together with the Apple Pencil, and otherwise you would be using your finger to draw, and that's fine, you know, in some cases for rough sketches. There you go. No, Aaron, the mobile apps are not available on either Mac OS or Windows. It's really a mobile app.
Do you think I need to update my Illustrator?
What?
Do you think I need to update my Illustrator? Maybe I should do that now.
No, don't do that now.
Okay.
It will never work.
Okay.
It's like
Too much.
Too many people.
Yeah.
nope, let's not update applications now.
Nope. But I will as soon as we're done and not on this. Yeah, it'll be cool. Like after the stream, I want to play around with using the Puppet Warp tool on this and see how it works.
Yeah, like,
That's
I mean, I think because I've seen some of your animations, and I think it will be perfect because it's like very subtle movements you're always doing.
I already use Puppet Warp in Photoshop.
Yeah.
So
And even maybe the
the trees. Good sway,
the
right?
trees, yeah. Like I think you could do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm super curious to see what you'll do with the new Puppet Warp tool in Illustrator.
Yeah, definitely. And it would be cool to do that, make this into an animated tile that can also be GIF as well. Like that can be a pattern and animation. Try one more layer.
All right, we have 15 minutes left. So I'm going to spend 5 minutes with each of you, and I'm going to start at the back there and come back to you, Shyama, in about 10 minutes. Is that good for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
You want this?
All right, Kyle. All right, the last 5 minutes for you.
Almost done. I'm using a little brayer roller action here for the stars. I just make a shape, tap, 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 tap.
Ah.
Fun.
So cool.
This is the kind of stuff, I swear, I could do this all day. It's so fun.
Well, now you get to do it all day, right?
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see about that, won't we?
Yeah,
we'll see about that.
Yeah. So,
Oh, no.
because
Who knows?
for those of you who have missed the beginning of the stream and the keynote, well, you know, Kyle has got some big news.
I have, yes, I have joined.
Kyle is part of the Adobe family
that's
now.
Correct.
Yeah, like we're brothers now.
That's right, we are bros. Bruder, German, how is it? Bruder. Bruder.
Yes.
Des frères.
Yeah.
Okay, for me it's easier in French. Yes, very exciting, and lots of new things to do, lots of new projects, lots of secret cool stuff. And I'm especially proud to be a representative and ambassador for the illustration community.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And to really work for them as well on behalf of Adobe.
And you're going to be working in the design team. Therefore,
yes,
I think this is super cool because that means that Kyle will be influential also on the development of future products, future features. And I find it so cool that having people like Kyle with us to help us with that. He's got so much experience that that it'll be so useful to have your insight inside Adobe.
Thank you.
And as a side benefit, of course, we inherited all of his brushes.
Oh,
not half of them.
Everyone.
Not 1/3 of them. Like all of them.
Yes. Every
and
single one.
they're all available in Photoshop now. Simply, you can download them today. And just make sure you update Photoshop to the latest version.
That's the most important thing.
Yep. And that you'll be able to download all of these brushes.
It will take you months to go through everything, and I promise though that there'll be something for everyone in there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I said, the best way to approach Kyle's brushes is really to take it step by step. If you have a specific, don't try to test them all right away. Like they're grouped pretty well, like in specific areas. Like we saw the impressionistic ones.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody in the chat asked, "Oh, where are the Munch brushes?"
Oh, those are still available from the same place they were this summer?
Exactly. So from the competition website, I guess.
Yep, they are still there.
Are you gonna put them in your Photoshop brushes?
They will be, yes. They will be added to the paint box. There's a couple of things we have to do after Max to move some of the tools into different categories so that they're available. But things like that were already available for free. Will still be where they lived previously.
Awesome.
Yeah, so those have not moved. So make sure that you just hunt down that link, do a search for Adobe Monk
I
Contest,
love this
and you should find it.
Elvis cat, and I love the little
the stars,
little claws.
Oh, the claws, yeah, very small. He's harmless.
Very small. Yeah.
Not going to hurt anybody. Whoops. All right, so I had one little idea to round this out. I got to figure out what it is. I think I know what it is. All right, do one big star behind him, maybe like a graphic design element. But I think he's looking okay, just like this.
I think it looks okay. I like the simplicity of it.
Maybe so, yeah.
I think we're there.
We're there.
And his outfit almost looks like a pajama. Like in the wild thing where the wild things live.
Yeah. Where the wild things live. Yeah. All right, so the chop, is that the one I was looking at? Yeah, that'll work. Well, maybe I'll do a dotted brush. Let's see. Go down to dot, 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 dot. Oh, we got some Kirby Crackle we can put in there. That's crazy.
I think you don't need to add
just
anything.
leave it. Rufus is a designer. He's telling me when to stop. I should listen. I should listen to Rufus.
Stop.
But we have a few minutes, so I'll just play, but I'll probably wind up just leaving it like this.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
I'm going to move over to Rocky now and see what, oh wow, the coloring.
Yes, we've gotten into the coloring.
Okay.
Shading is already done. Now I'm working on the coloring, trying to see what works well and everything. The one thing I am a big fan of using the libraries. So this is what I use in Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop on the desktop, and this is my big collection of colors. And a lot of these some of them are originally from Adobe Color, but some of them I've actually just pulled from my color inspiration, just like Shyama talked about.
Yep.
I also have an inspiration folder on my Pinterest, and I'll go through and find things. I'll also take pictures of like murals and things like that and pull color from there. But that's what I do is I go through here and I find colors and I try them out. And I see like what works and what doesn't, and then I just like hard press and fill them with the new color and see like how they work and everything. Yeah. It's always fun to be able to do this because if I think, oh, maybe I want to change up the color of the shirt, I can just go in here, grab a different color, and then just press and hold and fill it, and there it is. Yeah. So that's always a fun thing, and that's one thing that Adobe Illustrator Draw allows me to do.
And you're working with layers, of course, to do
that.
Yeah.
So I have a layer of my line drawing up top, then I have one for shading, then I have one for any type of highlights, and then I have the actual color layer. And so all I have to do is just hide these, and I can see what the difference is and everything. And then
let's see them like individually.
Okay.
It's always interesting to see them.
I'll go ahead and hide all these. So we have here the line work here. Then we have just the shading by itself. Then we have just the highlights, which is right now just on his glasses. Then we have the actual fill, which looks like crap by itself.
Yeah, it looks cool.
But then once you put all of those together, you get something like this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always something I love to be able to show people and share, because it's once you get to this point, this is where everything really comes together.
Cool. So what are the next steps here?
The next steps is to finish the coloring, go through and see like how we have right towards here, go and just like clean up little areas where there's like a little color peeking through, and then working on the background elements, and then we're pretty much done at that point.
Yeah. Well, the background elements, that was the...
that was these,
yeah.
So like the little bit of Hello Adobe Max, and then casino chips and the different apps and everything like that. So that's something I'll probably add later, maybe even at night. I might go ahead and go do it.
Are you guys going to be posting these images on social or something?
Yep.
Using what hashtag?
What should we use?
Yeah. Adobe Max.
Adobe Max.
And
Just
Adobe Live.
Max? Well, how simple is that?
And Adobe Live.
Adobe Live, Adobe Max.
Yep. Will you do that?
Absolutely.
Awesome. That would be great. So,
naturally.
Those of you who are interested to see how these images are going to be looking finished, follow the Twitter hashtag Adobe Live and Adobe Max. Either of them.
Excellent.
All right, Rocky, what can I say? Thank you so much for spending the time with us, and it looks awesome. I love the technique.
Thank
you. I love the technique of grays and how easy it is to color it in.
Yep.
And I just love your style, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
I'm glad to be back.
All right, let's go to Shyama and see what's happening there. Okay.
I think I'll show time-lapse because that's a really cool feature.
Do you want me to put it up a little bit more?
We got it. Okay.
That's fine.
So to look at the time-lapse is a really fun thing because you can share it on social media or just for yourself to see how you got to where you are. I just had it. So you go here to that box with the arrow, and then time-lapse, and then it will preview. I'll zoom in a little bit, and I'll show you the whole process. In the very beginning, I started with just like a pencil sketch that was really rough. And I can forward through this a little bit too. So. see how everything came together.
It's almost like the three-finger swipe,
yeah.
right? All the way back
Yeah.
and all the way back. That's just so cool.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't know about that time-lapse feature.
Oh, really? It's new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the latest release, so.
This is so cool.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it is. I always like to see that because I also want to see, sometimes I go too far and do too much detail or something,
Yeah.
so it's nice to see, like, was it better before or was it good that I kept
Did
going?
you know about the time-lapse feature?
I did. I just don't know how to access it, which I'm going to
Oh.
go back and watch what
Yeah,
I did.
it's just this box right here, and then time-lapse.
Oh,
And then
okay.
you can airdrop that also to your laptop
Oh, nice.
or phone or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check out Rocky's time-lapse very quickly.
Oh, let me switch over.
Now you can just...
Oh, no, I have to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Switching over.
All right, so time lapse. All right, and let's play it.
Awesome.
That's so cool to be able to do this because now, like at the end of these streams, we can just go in here
Yeah.
and just replay it.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right, let's give it back to Shyama so we
All
can
right, there you
see
go.
your finished work.
Yeah, I can also show the Pinterest on my computer. I can show the Pinterest board on my computer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this was where I ended up, but I'm sure I'll keep working on it. Basically, as I pull it into the computer, I'll see whether I'm happy with it, and if not, I'll keep working on it. So now you
That's
guys know
awesome.
the basics of.
Yeah, so
how
maybe
to
we
do
can
that.
move back to your computer for a second and just maybe look over the pattern again because
Yeah.
I thought that was so fascinating
Oh, the
at
one-
the
yeah,
beginning
that was
of
already-
the stream today.
Yeah. You know what? I think I have that in. Wait, this isn't the right. Is this the right thing?
No, that's
No,
for this.
it's this one. It's
Is it
already.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I had it open in an old version of Illustrator on accident,
Okay.
so I have to show you it in that. So yeah, this is the actual pattern, the final product.
So for those of you who have missed how Shyama did this pattern, watch the replay of this session. All of these sessions are, of course, archived on YouTube, on the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel, which I invite all of you to subscribe to, but also subscribe to the Behance, behance.net/live. It's right here, this one here, b.net live to follow all the streams. And the cool thing with the Behance experience is that the streams just flow one after the other. The chat is there. You can interact with us and ask questions to our guests. And yeah, so this is the pattern, and it looks so great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll continue to work on it too afterwards and experiment. And I want to try the puppet tool on it and see what happens.
All right. Yes, just to see if you can move the arm a little bit. Yeah.
And I'll post it on Instagram when it's
That
done.
would be awesome. Okay.
Of course, on
Instagram.
Twitter and
How do we find you on Instagram?
It's just my name. It's just Shyama Golden, Shyama Golden.
Okay. So maybe
Same
one of our
thing on Twitter.
moderators can quickly post the Twitter handles and Instagram accounts and things like that of our three guests today. And so we had, of course, Kyle Webster of Kyle Brushes, which now have become Kyle Adobe Brushes. So welcome to the family, Kyle. It's great to have you at Adobe, and wow, I'm super happy.
Me too. Thank you. I'm very
And you
excited.
should all be happy because you have all of Kyle's brushes right there in Photoshop from today. Just download them. Rocky, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me again.
All the way from San Diego and coming to this stream.
Oh, yeah.
Shyama, I just love your illustration, and it's really inspiring to see how you do these things. I'm looking forward to seeing your animation of the arm.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching out on that. And stay tuned because we're going to be right back here on Adobe Live with the photographers from the Road to Max project, the photographers who've been taking pictures coming here to Las Vegas over the past week. So stay tuned. We're going to be back in 5 minutes.